Hi, tonight's speech topic is the No Child Left Behind Act and the fact it will not work for every child. Anne Marie Corgill of Primary Importance once wrote, "Ask children, hear them. Teach children to ask the questions that they want the answers to. Believe that what a 7-year-old has to say is important because it is. Just ask." Back in 2001, when President Bush took office, one of his primary goals was to reform the education system. He felt that schools needed to have more accountability and parents and students needed to have more options. He also felt that every child should be able to read by the time that they're in the 3rd grade. This act was put into law on January 8, 2002. He said, "These reforms express my deep belief in our public schools and their mission to build the mind and character of every child from every background in every part of America. And in order for schools to receive any Title I money, they have certain requirements that they need to meet." The Secretary of Education, Margaret Spelling, said, "No Child Left Behind is about a commitment to all children, and of course it's one that we absolutely must honor if we're going to continue to thrive as the great nation that we are." Now, some of the pros that are associated with the No Child Left Behind Act are there are accountability standards that are measured annually. There are set teacher qualifications. It's got a big emphasis on reading and math. They hope to bridge the gap between whites and minority students and also give the parents a grade card, per se, of their school's achievements and also their children's. There are a lot of states, though, that oppose the No Child Left Behind Act. They feel that it's mislabeling some of the schools. They feel that it's forcing teachers out the door. And they also feel that the schools are turning their backs on students that may score lower and bring down their overall test scores. They feel like the focus is on testing rather than investing in our children's future. They feel it's punishing the neediest schools and the neediest students. And they feel that children of color and poverty are still going to be left behind. Some of the cons that are associated with the No Child Left Behind Act are federal underfunding. Now, Ted Kennedy was a very big a very big advocate of the No Child Left Behind Act. But he said the tragedy is that these long overdue reforms are finally in place, but the funds are not. They feel that they are teaching to the test. There's problems with the standardized tests. They feel that there are problems with the qualification standards for the teachers. And they feel like the No Child Left Behind Act does not actually address the reasons for the lack of achievement. Now, there was some sample testing that was done on 699 parents of school-age children. The results were 64% believe that the No Child Left Behind is identifying weak schools that need to do better. 46% believe that it's improving learning by students. 34% believe that No Child Left Behind is punishing schools for failure instead of rewarding them for success. 25% believe that it's limiting learning by students. Now, there was a study that was done by the Northwest Evaluation Association, and their study concluded that in order for a child to work at a proficient level or above, they would need to learn 2.3 times as fast at a 4th grade level in mathematics. In reading, they would need to learn 15.7 times as fast. At an 8th grade level in mathematics, they would need to learn 6 times as fast, and in reading, 10.2 times as fast. They feel that it also shows that the federal sanctions have not increased the performance, and that it has not been shown to reduce any of the gaps between the different ethnicities. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with me? I have a child who was being left behind. As a fourth grader, I went to the principal because my child had gotten in trouble in school for talking. He was a very fun-loving child, very bright, and he was also a social butterfly. His teacher had him sitting with some students that he had had a history with and he liked to talk to, and I talked to the principal, and all I wanted was for him to be moved away from those children so that he would not be disruptive in the class. And the solution that they came to was they alienated him from the classroom. They set him at a desk inside the teacher's doorway, and you walked in the doorway, turned down a little hallway, and was in the classroom area. And he sat there for almost 4 months. During this time, he was unable to see the blackboard, and he was not able to see the teacher, nor could the teacher see him. He fell so far behind during that time that it was almost more than he could handle. And he, for a long time, didn't recover from that. He was being left behind. And he has had difficulty through the past 3, 4, 5 years. And as a 7th grader, he failed. That did nothing to boost his confidence, and he sunk lower into depression, and I was to the point I didn't know what to do. What options do I have? I've talked to the school. We worked on an IEP program for him. We did testing on him. We found out he had a hearing deficit. The school assured me that they would sit him in front of the classroom by the teacher so that he could hear better. Things like this. Those things didn't happen. The school didn't follow through with promises that they made, and no amount of talking to the teachers changed anything. And so he did his 2nd year of 7th grade, and last year was in the beginning of his 8th grade year. And I received a phone call from a Dayton school called Youth Connections, and it was a prayer answered. With this program, my child is able to get back on track. He has just about completed his freshman year studies. He's kind of in between his freshman and sophomore year, but by the end of the school year this year, he will officially be a sophomore, going on as a junior. He will be graduating with his original class, and no homework to worry about. All of the testing is done at school. He can score no less than an 80% on his tests, and he's given the ability to take them over if he does score lower than 80%. Now, did I make the right decision for him? Yes, I did. Would I do it again? Absolutely. And I just want everyone to realize you do have options out there. You do not have to put up with a public school system that is not meeting the needs of your child. And I hope that they do change the No Child Left Behind Act, because in theory it is a good idea, but there are still children being left behind. Thank you, and have a good evening.